Hi, welcome to the EcoHeidi show. I'm Heidi Borchers. This is where you'll find creative recycling and other fun ideas using items you have around the house in a different way. On today's show, it's caps, cups, and QTs, like in cotton swabs. I'm starting out with a cute bug made from plastic bottle caps. You won't want to miss this because it's lots of fun for the kids too. My friend Candace J is here to show us a fabulous caddy from cups. I have a QT doll project from the Mama Aline archives. And I want to show you what to do with plastic packaging, all those plastic packaging. So don't go away, I'll be right back. When you take your bottles to the recycling center, you have to remove the caps. So what do you do with those caps? I made bugs from them. Yes, bugs. Let me show you what I did. Just a few different supplies is all you need to make your bugs. You're going to need 2 different caps. I'm using like a water bottle and one from Gatorade, and I'll show you how to size the fabric from a Gatorade size. Also, this is another cap off of a drink bottle, so you're not limited. You can use any type of plastic cap. Fabric, also you're going to need some cereal boxes of the cardboard. And let me show you what I did. Now I have a template with circles, so I found out which circle was the size of the lid, and I went the next size down for the piece of cardboard that I'm going to cut. So this one is 1 3/4, so I need a piece of cardboard that's 1 5/8, and that's what I've cut here. So I'm going to glue this first onto a little scrap of fabric. I'm using my Aline's Tacky Glue, and just smooth it out, stick it on the wrong side of your fabric, and cut it out. Cut it out right close to the cardboard. Now on your Gatorade, it's about 1.5 inches beyond the circle is what you need, beyond the actual cap is what you need for to cover your cap. So the cap plus about 1.5 inches. Again, we're going to put a little bit of glue onto the cap, and I'm going to put it right in the middle of the fabric. And I'm also going to put a little bit of glue around the edge. Now we're going to do something that we haven't done for a while, and that's to use 2 different kinds of glue. We're going to use the Aline's Tacky Glue because that'll keep it glued for a long time, and we're going to use the glue gun because that's an instant hold. And we need both of those to give our project an instant hold. So I'm going to just put a little bit of the hot glue inside, and I'm going to stretch this in. It's going to give me an instant hold. Going right into that hot glue. And remember I had the glue around the side too that's holding my sides. I had the white glue, the Aleene's tacky glue on the sides to hold it on. Okay, next thing I want to do is I want to make my legs out of wire. And I found the easiest way to do it was to mark the center. I have a little mark right there for the center. And then I just put it down where that mark is on the center, and then I bend it in just a little bit to give me an idea because I want it just inside. And bend it down, and then back up, and then out. And I have 3 wires like this, and I also put a little loop on the end for the foot. Okay, we're going to put our wire in here, and this is probably about 20 gauge wire. And again, we're going to use both glues because the hot glue will hold it fast, but the Aleene's tacky glue is more permanent. We're going to put it right in there. I'll put a little bit more hot glue on the outside of this. Is that little disc that we covered just a minute ago. And I'm going to turn it upside down, put it right over my legs, push it in, push, and just hold it until it sets up. Now we are ready with our body, and you can rearrange, because you've got that hot glue in there, you can rearrange your legs so whoops, his head is going to even him out, or you can just kind of pull it around. We're going to set that aside for a minute, and we're going to work on the head. Again, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to put some glue on the cap, and this is a water bottle cap. It's a little bit deeper. Going to put it in the middle of a circle, probably about an inch and a half. Put some glue around the outside edge. Glue in the center with a little bit of hot glue. And just start to pull that in. These are so much fun. The kids are going to love making these. And it's just about that time of summer right now where you need something else for the kids to do. Got it inside. I have another piece of cardboard that's covered with the same color. And we're going to put a little bit of hot glue and a little bit of the tacky glue. Put that in there like that. And that just pushes it in and holds it in. And we have our head. We're going to attach our head to the body, and I just put a couple of little globs of the hot glue. And this is where we want to rearrange the legs so that he'll stand. And then you just start putting on eyes. Oops. And I paper punched some foam core dots, or the craft foam dots. This is where you give the personality to the little critter. And we have a craft foam beak, or I guess it could be a stinger. Let's put that right in between. And there you have your bug. How fun is that? I think the kids are going to just love making these bugs. I can't wait to see what they do with them. Hello, hello. They're so much fun. My friend Candace J is so creative. Wait till you see what she did with cups. Candace, what are you up to?
Thanks, Heidi. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to my studio of Perpetual Mojo. And yes, you have seen these glasses before. I wore them making one of my goofy videos, and I think they're fabulous and colorful. And that makes me think about this next project. I think you'll like it. Sit back and relax. Here we go. This is the first one that I made. I was doing the project where I needed lots of glue, and I happened to have the coffee cups on the table, so I put the big bottle of glue in one of the tall cups, and it didn't tip it over, and it stayed upright for the whole project. So I thought, I could put some together, and that would be everything you would need to have on the table. I wouldn't have to be digging through stuff to find anything, and even though it's not pretty, it is very functional. And I really love it. So I got all excited about proposing this idea for Heidi's show, and I made up a decorative one. Works just as well, and it's so pretty, and it would be a nice gift for somebody too. I put a small ice cream cup on the front of this one, and I don't like it quite as well as the clear cup. I think it's more useful as a slightly taller clear cup. I started with this decorative one, an 8.5-inch circle of foam core board, and I glued the back of it. I put it down, and then I cut strips of paper in towards the center, and then I glued each one and folded them up one at a time, and they'll overlap each other to make a pretty good fit on the edge. So let me show you what that looks like. Here is my finished one, all nicely glued up, and if it was a gift for somebody, you could certainly cut out another circle of paper to make that even lovelier. So what I want to show you is, right now, when you pick out your cup sizes, and I have small, medium, and large ones, you need to buy at least one extra one because you want to cut down the side and open it up so you can trace around it. And I'm using white paper so that I can show you what you need to do with it. Trace all the way around it. And then, because you cut where it overlapped, you don't have the overlap seam. So you have to add one, about 1/4 of an inch. Just like that. And then you would cut it out. I have one all cut out. And before gluing, you would want to try it on. That's a good fit. I like that. So let's go ahead and glue it up. And I'm using Fast Tack. I'm using the Fast Grab Tacky Glue from Aleene's. I don't want this to be terribly, terribly wet, but I suppose if you wanted to, you could use Collage Podge and then go over the top of it too. Any layer adds to the strength of the whole piece. Now, what you don't want to do is have it so that you're looking at the seam, which inevitably stays brown from the coffee. So you want to have it at an angle where you won't see it when it's tipped up, and that will be the center front. You want to stay as close as you can to the top. And there's the overlap. Very nice. And you could put some clothespins on that if you wanted to secure it. If you're not even at the bottom, you can trim them off or simply tuck them in and glue them. Now, let's see how I'm going to put these. I want the tall one in the back, and then I have three, oh, that needs to go all the way back at the edge. 3 medium-sized cups. Like so. And then here's my clear cup, and I added a little decorative element to it. That's going to go in the middle in the front, and then that's going to go like that. So when I did the decorative one, and this was the size base that I used, I realized that if I wanted to make it really sturdy, I could start to attach each one, which I did with the brads. But when I did that, what happens is the bottoms curve in, and suddenly you don't have flat bottoms anymore. So I had to add something on the bottom when I glued them. So let's begin by putting them together. I took each one, faced it the way that I wanted, make sure I didn't have a seam where I didn't want one. And then I used a craft knife, or you could use your scissors, and make sure that the bottoms are lined up. Go through both cups, and then you're going to take a brad and put that through. Probably big brads are the best thing to use. Okay, but this is a real pretty one. I like it a lot. And then you go inside, and I don't know if you can see that or not. Fan out the brad like that and tighten it up. See, it has a little jewel. So cute. And you can also see that they do lean like that. So I'm going to attach all the brads and then show you the next step. Now I have finished attaching all of my cups together with my lovely jeweled brads. And what I want to stress about making the connections between the cups is that when you draw them together, they're going to be at an angle. So when you're making the holes from one to another, make sure that both of them are sitting flat. There we go. Sitting flat. And then once they're attached, they'll fit like that. Now that leaves me with another problem. The cup in the center isn't even going to touch the tabletop. So, and the rest of these would only have outside contact on the bottom rim. So I want to build up the center. And to do that, I am going to put some styrofoam to work. I have this 1/4 inch styrofoam that I'm going to glue together. And while the glue is still wet, and I can change my mind if I have to, I'm just going to touch down here. And I think that we do have contact. Yep, I believe we have enough contact to make this work. With the placement, you just want to be sure that you have about the same amount all the way around. So I have about 1 inch on the bottom of, in front of each of these cups, except for the very front one. There we go. And you can see the styrofoam in between, and it's touching both the bottom of the cup and if you look sideways, you can see where the styrofoam is touching the disc as well as the cup. So you have a pretty solid base there. And here's what I recommend. To dry it, put all of your glue in it. Make sure that you have plenty of weight to stick it down. Ta-da! I so enjoyed making this project, and I know I say that every time. I love crafting. I do. I love my job. And when you can make something that is functional and fun, that's functional fantastic. That's exponential function fabulosity. Yep. It's a word. Go look it up. Thanks, everyone. Back to you, Heidi.
Just amazing. Candace, that's just amazing. I love your creativity and your fabulosity glasses. Thanks so much. This next project, I did it first on one of the shows from my mom's show, Aline's Creative Living. It was back in the 80s, and it's always been one of my favorite projects, and I really haven't shown it very often. It's a little doll, and she's made from a Q-tip or cotton swab. So let me show you what I did. You just need a few different items for this project, and it's lots of fun. You're going to need Q-tips. You're going to need some cereal cardboard for your patterns, fabric, and toothpicks, a wire. This one is a 24 gauge wire, and I picked the white, so these are going to be for her little hands. Just different kinds of yarns for her hair. And I also have a piece of styrofoam that I've stuck my little heads in to be painted and dry. And you're going to need some Aline's tacky glue, some wire cutters, and a needle and thread. Super, super simple. It's just that you're going to be working in miniature. So let me show you what I did. First thing I did with I made my pattern, and this is 1 5/8 by 5 inches. This is for her skirt. And I cut a piece. I put it down on the fabric, sketched it the outside with a pencil, and then cut it out. Then with a needle and thread, I stitched as tiny as I could, because I found that my gathering lines were a lot more effective if they were tiny. Then I put some glue along the bottom edge and created a hem, and that's what I did with this one. Oops. So that's ready for her skirt. Then for her blouse, again the same thing. I made a little pattern, I sketched it out, and then I glued the edges. And then you cut a slit up halfway. So we have her little blouse. So her clothes are all ready to go. Let me show you how to prepare her head. You take your Q-tip and just cut it right in half. And then I put a little bit of glue. Dip my finger in the glue, and then just roll the Q-tip right in the glue. This is going to make her face, and it's going to make it where you can paint it. Just make sure you get it completely covered and that it's smooth enough for a face. And then I put it into my little styrofoam and let it dry. Then when it's all dry, I paint it completely with just a flesh color paint. And then we're gonna do a couple little dots for the eyes. Little mouth. So let's see if I can do this little tiny upside down. Okay, so we have one little dot and another little dot. And there you have her eyes. And then just take and a little mouth. And then you can also put little cheeks on her. And put her down to dry. Actually, I'm going to put her over here in the styrofoam to dry. So I have one that's ready. And I also take for her base, for the base to hold the little head and neck up, you're going to take a circle, and I think it's about 7/8 of an inch of a circle, put the needle through it, and then take a toothpick and put through it, and then that little Q-tip glues right down in there. Just right through that hole it glues, and that's what I've done right here. She's glued right into the cereal box base. Now let's get some arms on her, and just take up the wire, maybe 3 inches of the wire, and just wrap it close to the top. And I trim it later when I get her all dressed. Next thing we need is a little bit of cotton. We're going to glue it up for the top of her dress. And we are ready to dress her. So I'm going to take the piece that I prepared earlier for her top. We have the slit down. I'm going to put it over her arms. And I'm going to put some glue. Put that down in the glue. A little bit more. And then we're going to glue the front of it with a little bit of glue to the back. Like so. That's her little top to her dress. That's her blouse. Next, we're going to take the piece that we put the gathering stitch in. It already has the hem, and we're going to just pull that gathering stitch. And we're going to put some glue around just around her waist. And this is what's going to help hold her skirt. But we're going to put it upside down. To kind of help hold it. And, oops, some glue. We're going to take that extra thread and just tie it really tight. Oops. Those arms, push them up a little bit if they get in the way. Tie it really tight, and then like a knot. And like so, whoops. And you let it dry there for a little bit. I'm going to bring it down right now, but I usually let it dry so that glue dries. I clip off any of the excess thread. Oops. And you can see our little doll is starting to take shape. Now you would take her arms, the wire arms, and cut just a little tiny bit off. You maybe want, a little bit less than a 1/2 inch. And kind of bring it around. And I'm going to put a little bit of hair on her. And like I said, you can use yarn. You can just take a piece of yarn and I just kind of shred it a little bit and put it down in that glue. Looks like this needs to be cut. And there she has her hair. She's got kind of a wild hairdo. So if it's not cooperating with you, then just put a little bit more glue. And then the final thing, when everything's dry, is you can take her little wire and you can bend them over into little hands. And you can have her hands holding something. You can put like a little tiny, make a little basket for her. Oops. Oops. And we have little hands there. And during that, lost some of her hair. And there you have your little cutie. And I want to show you the ones. This one, when I went to put when I stitched the actual dress, I put a little piece for an apron. And then of course you can always go with a little bride. And I just put some small flowers in her hands, and then I put a veil on her head. Would make a cute little favor. And then this one, again, just a plain little pink dress. And I chose little patterns on my fabric so that they didn't look like they were out of proportion. I chose the patterns that were like little dots or just little flowers. It's that easy. Aren't they cute? I just love these. You know, think of all the different things you could do with them. Package top, favors. There's so many uses for them. They're so cute. I love them. Plastic packaging. Don't you just hate it? You know, they use it all the time and we keep throwing it away. I found a creative use for it. Let me show you what I did. We often throw these, what I call blister packages. They're actually the plastic that goes over packaging to help protect what's inside. We throw them away, and they really are very useful in different projects. So I wanted to quickly show you today how to use them and take advantage of them as molds. I'm using the Cool to Cast, which is a plaster, and it's a special plaster that has fibers in it, so it works really well for casting. So let me show you what you can do using these blister packages. And you know, you start looking at these packages and you will find all kinds of shapes. I'm going to use this one today, and I actually think something with a telephone came in it, because when I just pulled a piece of cardboard it said telephone, so it was probably like a pouch or something to hold your cell phone. I've put my Cool to Cast in a plastic container. I have a half a cup here, and then I'm going to add a 1/4 cup of water. I'm going to put my lid back on tight, and then I'm going to shake it. And it just takes maybe 30 seconds to a minute, as long as you're sure when you check it that it's all the dry particles are wet. Looks good. Now I want to make this particular one into a frame, so I'm going to use some craft foam and I'm going to put it right down in the center. And then I'm going to pour my Cool to Cast right over that. Perfect. And then you tap it and just let it set up. This small amount would probably set up in an hour or two where you could take it out. And let me show you one that I've already done here. You can see where my craft foam is. And you pop it out. And we're going to take that out. And just cut it a little bit. Perfect. Got a little area down here that can be cleaned out, but then it makes a perfect frame. And let me show you a couple samples here. Cute little frame. And I had another candy mold that I made the little hearts. Cute, cute, cute. And here's another one with again a mold that had some stars, so I glued them on and just painted these. And here's another fun one. Oops. Mama Aline and one of her grandchildren. And another mold that I had in my studio with a flower. Now here's a mold, or one that was for fun for boys, and this is the piece. I actually didn't have the actual blister pack, but I have a picture of it, so I'm going to show you a picture of it really quick of this piece with the actual blister pack. It came from a truck, and so I just poured it, I painted it, and then I have these craft foam letters that worked out really perfect for it. So see how easy it is to use those blister packages, and don't throw them away. Don't be sure you recycle them and use them for this great project. Here are a few more hints using the plastic packaging. When you're using the craft foam and you want to make a frame out of it, if you stick a little piece of the double-sided tape in here, put your craft foam down, it won't move around. I don't always care if I have it a little bit slanted, but if you want it to be perfectly straight, then just tape it down. Also, if you want to buy the Cool to Cast product, it's available at shopcooltocraft.com. Well, that's all for today's show. Let me give you a quick recap of what we did today. We showed cap bugs out of caps. Hello. I'm sure you're going to want to make lots of these. Candace J did a fabulous cup caddy, and that's going to organize you and all your little things in the studio. I showed you some cute little QT dolls made out of Q-tips. And we also showed how to use your blister packaging, the packaging that you see all over the place with the Cool to Cast. You can find the instructions and the videos at cooltocraft.com. Don't forget to recycle creatively. I'm EcoHeidi Borchers. Thanks for joining me. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.